Managing an athletic program in the 21st century has become more challenging than ever. An athletic director or administrator is faced with the constant issues of personnel, budget, facilities, athletes, and other administrators, as well as the modern-day concerns like increased stakeholder demands, winning, behavioral culture, accountability, and social media. It can be an exhausting and frustrating job to keep on top of all the moving parts, but with the proper management framework, creating a successful athletic program can be rewarding. The purpose of this video is to introduce and demonstrate how the Management by Objectives framework can create not only a successful management system for day-to-day activities, but a system that nurtures long-term success by implementing objective assessment that in turn leads to alignment with program's mission statement. MBO is a systematic and organizational approach to management introduced by Peter Drucker in 1954 in his book, The Practice of Management. It is characterized by collaboration between management and employees to create challenging but achievable objectives that focus on personal growth and development. Its aim is to increase organizational performance by aligning goals and objectives throughout the organization. Before we go further, let's talk about the difference between goals and objectives. A goal is the result or achievement toward which the effort is directed. Objectives are efforts or actions in the pursuit of a goal. Objectives are often lined up together to achieve a goal, which then in turn works with other goals toward a bigger plan. Winning a race is a goal. Staying in front of your competition for the first 30 meters is an objective toward the goal of winning the race. In an athletic setting, an example of a goal might be to increase student participation in school team sports. The objectives might be increase team sports social media presence, increase school sports history knowledge throughout the entire student body, increase current student-athlete support across all sports, or increase coaches' presence at all school activities. The MBO process is aligned with the SMART goal-setting process introduced by Paul J. Meyer in his book, Attitude is Everything. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. In the MBO process, organizations will often apply SMART concept to the team and individual objectives in order to achieve the overall goal. Management by objectives can be broken down into 6 steps. Number 1, define organizational goals or mission statement. Number 2, define team and individual goals. Number 3, continuous monitoring or formative assessment. Number 4, performance review or summative assessment. Number 5, provide feedback. And number 6, reward or realign goals to mission statement. Let's take a look at each step. Step 1. When creating a mission statement, it's often good to start with a few questions. Who are we? What do we want to accomplish? How are we going to accomplish these goals? Additionally, it can be helpful to think about your core values. What do we want our student athletes to represent? What is the athletic culture at our school? And what are our beliefs? In step 2, once you've created a mission statement, you can move on to defining team and individual goals. In athletics, team goals can include building sport-specific skills or increasing communication. Individual goals might look like spend 25 minutes 3 times a week on a skill until every player learns it and understands when to use it, and then use that information to give players cues during practice to talk to each other. To increase communication, a coach may instruct a team manager to track how often a player communicates while engaged in offensive and defensive practice activities. Note that all of these goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Once you have your individual and team goals, you can focus on steps 3 and 4, assessment. MBO can be broken down into formative and summative assessment. Formative assessment can also be thought of as continuous monitoring during the goal-driven period. Summative assessment is also known as a performance evaluation completed at the end of the goal-driven period. The goal of formative assessment is to monitor progress while it's occurring and make adjustments, if necessary. For example, Duke University's athletic mission statement includes the following sentence: "The mission of the athletics program ultimately is that of Duke itself, to engage the mind, to elevate the spirit, and stimulate the best effort of all who are associated with the university." Let's say that 3 weeks into the volleyball regular season, a team trainer observes an athlete who's struggling to return from an injury. In alignment with the mission to elevate the spirit, that trainer would collaborate with the head coach, site coach, and possibly a close friend to create a support action plan to intervene and support the player. The athletic director would follow up with the trainer and confirm that she had indeed created an intervention with the intent to elevate the spirit of the volleyball player. A formative assessment might be a quick survey, a poll, weekly coaches meetings, or many others. The goal of summative assessment is to evaluate the program at the end of the season with respect to the mission and goals. For example, the University of Southern California's mission statement includes the following sentence: "We will operate under an administrative structure managed in an open and fiscally sound manner." If, however, their season-end fiscal audit reveals unnecessary early replacement of weight machines instead of repairing a malfunctioning locker room, then the administration would need to officially recognize and record the economic discrepancy, as well as implement policies and procedures to avoid repeating the mistake. A summative assessment might look like a survey, a checklist, a Likert scale, a video conference, questionnaire, or a report. The key to determining who and what to evaluate is to link it back to the mission statement and customize it for all parts of the organization. For an athletic program, we will assume the main parts to include personnel, budgets, athletes, equipment and facilities, and administrators. Let's say an organization's mission statement focuses on appropriate facilities and support services to allow student athletes to reach their athletic, educational, and academic objectives. The assessments for each branch should reflect efforts to support it. For example, a summative budget assessment might include questions regarding the maintenance and accessibility of both indoor and outdoor athletic track surfaces for year-round use by all departments, not just the track and field. A summative personnel assessment might include comments on the hiring standards for new trainers and sports and conditioning coaches. A summative athlete assessment might include questions regarding the level of academic support each student athlete is receiving, and so on. Once the formative and summative evaluations have been completed, in Step 5 you can move on to feedback, which is offered to all members of the team, from coaches and staff to directors and administrators. Whereas assessment is founded on information gathering, feedback is focused on providing information about one's experience, learning, understanding, and opinions. Feedback is important because it allows us to build and maintain communication with each other. Effective feedback, both positive and negative, is very helpful and can be used to make important decisions. Feedback has benefits for the giver, the receiver, and the wider organization. The sixth and final step is to realign the goals and objectives to match the mission statement. If, after following all the previous steps, you discover that your goals and objectives aren't actually lined up to achieve your mission statement, take the time to meet with all the team again and discuss how goals can be adjusted to get your organization back on track. Open communication and willingness to stay focused on the big picture will help all members stay motivated and engaged in working toward a common goal. Evaluating an athletic program can be time-consuming and challenging when it includes a large number of sports and multiple coaches and personnel in each sport. Management by objectives is a useful tool for an athletic organization because it begins with one mission statement or goal that encourages input and investment from all parties, who then create their own individual and team goals. When all team members are included in the formation of the mission, goals, and objectives, they are inclined to create and implement their own formative and summative assessments, as well as nurture an environment honoring the organizational mission.